All right. Welcome to the stream, everyone. It's going to be a shorter stream tonight, but we're kind of going back and working on some of the Unity stuff that I had originally imported. I thought I had it running. Really, did I close it out? Hey, Deagle Blade. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, planets. So, what we want to do is we want to kind of get things prepared for the 4 planets that I want to get into the game. So, in Unity, I'm gonna hopefully it opens the last project that I had open, but if not, then so let me show you here what we've been. So we want to use a noise function. So we want to use the 3-dimensional noise function that we can sample from. And then the idea being there's no actual mesh. It's all done on GPU. Oh yeah, good. So this, I'm pretty much remaking this. So this was my original city generator, right? Using like a noise algorithm. I think using in Unity it was like a noise texture. We didn't have fast lib noise, right? So you would give it a seed value, and it would generate procedural kind of building types based on like a population density curve. Meant to be just the background filler of a cityscape, but this was very slow and not very performant. And in this project we have a bunch of stuff like that. We have the city planet, Project Neon. Right, so this was like a full gray box test that I was doing. Right, to build a big landing zone, like a huge landing zone. Go to hospital. Very early back then, parallax window shader. Very kind of, primitive, but worked. And I wanted to kind of make kind of an enclosed, kind of floating, kind of island, that has different residential building types, more high-rise on the outskirts, different commercial types. So the blue ones are like medium commercial, dark gray is like industrial, green is commercial, and this would be very like cyberpunk-esque. Like we'd have these kind of like walkways that we filled with graffiti and things, and they would bring you up to different levels, where we have different residential doors, and kind of like these cookie cutter buildings that obviously they'll be a bit more detailed, but just the kind of create a bit of variation. Just all white box, even not even gray box, but right, these locations were meant to be like kind of smaller, kind of like towns, self-sufficient little towns that you could kind of go to. Oh my god, camera. Right, so this is what these little platforms look like. I don't know why the lighting is so bad. Really weird. Right, but I started working on this because ideally there'll be a bunch of these little mini cities, and they're kind of connected together with like a lattice that are in the upper, top areas of an asteroid field, or the asteroid field, a gas giant. My brain. And I wanted to kind of move all of this into a Godot project called Unforgiven Planets. So a lot of these art pieces are actually in there, like they're there to be kind of prototyped and furtherly developed. Because right now, a lot of this stuff is only in Unity. It was from way before I was even organized, and which just concept, a lot of just concept stuff. And yeah, what changed that? So, what I'm working on tonight, if you kind of take a look here. Oh yeah, right. So let me go to the Sand City. So I've moved over a lot of the Sand City prefabs. Still got to redo a lot of them, but I'm trying to get one of everything kind of converted over. At least in gray box form, so I can figure out like how big I want those things to be, and I can automatically generate the walls. So it's like an Arrakis type thing. Hey, Ashley. But yeah, so we want to world name city builder. Yeah, we'll run this one. Yeah, so check this out. This is all in GPU city prefab buildings. Now they're only placeholder. I just whipped them up in Blender, and the noise function is still like nowhere near anything. It's just parallel noise, a bit of variance, right? But you know, here we have like thousands upon thousands of these buildings, around us, right? And depending on the population density, there's like different heights of different buildings that'll spawn, right? And what they're doing right now is they're just picking random. They're being rotated randomly, which will give the different buildings. So right now they're just squares, obviously. I beveled some of them just to kind of showcase that there is differentiations between them. But depending on like what the population of a grid is, right? There's a higher building, and depending on the clustering, you'll get ones that are like really, really high. Well, this is meant to create a Coruscant style, backdrop, which is hard to tell because everything's so flat. There's only like a couple different levels, but right, it's more of what the performance is like because these are all loaded up onto multi-mesh instances, so they're just 7 different draw calls or 6 different draw calls for like all of these. So there's not much of a slowdown. But the idea is to try to create a LOD system where we can kind of load in, like have a texturized version. And then as we get close enough, that texturized version will switch over to the physical version. So the same noise that's being used to generate the height will be used also to generate like a 1024 by 1024 texture. Yeah, and the distance is very subjective here too, because these are only 1 meter cubes, and they're meant to be much bigger. So we're not really getting a true render distance. So if they were more like scale, it would be more of an accurate kind of simulation of what we'd be looking at. But I need to create a material set for them with different lights, and we need to create a little bit more variation between them, and kind of like make some kind of hallways in between them, some natural spacing. So they probably won't be like a single building, but they'll be like a cluster of buildings that have like roadways, and this is just proof of concept right now to get things working. So that's the idea. So what I want to work on now is we're going to chunk these. Next is what I'm working on now, and after these are chunked, and I'm just working on like a unlimited version of this. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think that chunk. I had another window open here. Oh, for YouTube. Terrain Arcade Zero Dark. Yeah, it's City Tech. Using multi-mesh instances for performance. So there's only six different prefabs that are each being randomly rotated in GPU memory. That's why you can't see it here in the preview. And right, so each multi-mesh instance has our multi-mesh object, and then we have like sort of 1,600 of these flat planes, as an example. So that way we're only ever going to be doing, especially with the materials, right? That we share materials on these as well. Right now, I think there's a unique imported material. So there's probably 2 draw calls per multi-mesh instance, and ideally we really do want to just get it down to like probably like 7 draw calls for the scene. But what we'll be using is custom logs and a probably a shader material, and that shader material will have kind of like the fake lighting, the fake metallic surface of the actual buildings, and it will have like on that one material different regions where we'll have different emissive lights for like day and night, and like it'll just be one final texture that's all UV mapped in a certain way. So we'll just apply that. That'll drive all of the buildings, and then we'll have hero buildings, and hero buildings will be one that utilize my parallax shader for windows. So like I can generate like an actual interior. But the interiors had to be done. I have a VFX. There's a VFX project here. I need to find it. Oh, that's why it's not the right one. Let me find it. No. Make sure I'm yeah, this one. Just so you understand. But I have to, yeah, so this is my interior mapping shader. Oh, come down, please. Okay, thanks. Right, so I have 2 different renders. So what you're looking at here is a totally flat surface. Every one of these are these 2 renders. So there's a daylight and a nighttime render. So what I will do ultimately is we'll set up a projective camera that has the FOV set perfectly in Blender. And we'll render out some sci-fi, kind of corporate office buildings, right? Because I do want to have day and night cycle, and they'll also be this will be cropped as well, and won't necessarily be the way that this is presented. There'll be like it won't just be like fully open. There'll be some form of clipping that's happening, so that, the windows are not just like full screen. They're fully open like this, right? This is just like the prototype, and this is actually just one flat. Like none of this is 3D. Right? You can actually see on the corner, right, where there's 2 different, interior mappings. Right, so I want to actually create, and I can use noise to randomize which ones you're using, on and off, in the fake interior shader here. So I can randomize the room. Right now I'm just using a sign, just a random float input. And yeah, so that's kind of what I want to do with some of the hero buildings. So when you're like flying in, You know what I mean? Like they'll look kind of neat. And you can also we can create like an array. Like I'll either do like, we'll probably like shrink these down. So instead of them being like a really good, you just open this in my file system. No, not gonna open. Show in file system is like, no, not happening. Either way, what we can do is break that one into like quadrants and create four different variations at a lower resolution. These ones right now are already only 256 by 256, and they look okay at 256 by 256. Like you're not really gonna, it breaks itself apart a little bit when you're like super close. You can see like the JPEG-ness of the TV there, but in reality, it's not really very noticeable. So we could do like a 512 by 512 version. Hey, Tango. And then split them up, by their UVs, kind of clamp them up, and then have like, we'll randomize that too. So then you just get like a bunch of different rooms that are kind of like randomized. I'm thinking about doing like a residential set. So like kind of like and what's cool, because we're just like rendering these out in Blender, like I can actually just, create something cool, right? Render it out a bit more higher detail. Or, I could just set up a scene in Godot and, place everything and just take a render camera and have the render camera just, take a bunch of these and write them out to a render texture and just save them. So that's the idea, right? So you have that. Oh yeah, I forgot about the orbit lines. That was working out. Well, that's a cool thing. So, when you combine all of it together, and you have like we have a set of hero buildings that have parallax, with background buildings that just have emission, right? They'll just have emissive materials, right? So if it's nighttime, they'll be kind of glowing, right? And there'll be enough variation. It'll be very low poly. They'll probably won't even have a bevel on it. They'll just be squares, just kind of get a shape on them a little bit, and add some variation. I might even I'm thinking about like building them kind of in a way that they're kind of like in the geometry, or they can be kind of flipped, so they're like two different primitive shapes. Because if we do have to flip them, then there's one side that would technically be called, but I mean it's one face. If we're using an extra face to create a whole other variation, we just flip them over, and when we're instancing them inside the intermediate or the multi-mesh instance system, because then that would give us probably 14 variations for 7 models. Or we could do like 13 if one is going to be just nothing, like just the ground. We could do like 6 and 6, 12, 13, yeah, that would work too. So yeah, so that's what we're doing right now. So we got the multi-mesh system generating all these different building configurations. And so we're going to turn it into a chunking system next, so we can take right now we're just loading in one multi-mesh instance, but we want to convert it to chunks, and then we want to use a spherical reprojection based on a 3-dimensional noise. So where we are, right, we sample where we are to the nearest quadrant on the sphere, like the nearest kind of point, using the 3D noise that the planet is using. And then we kind of, as we're moving around, we're kind of moving around this, if you want to really think about it, it's more of a cube, right? So we're kind of moving around a cube that is spherically projected and then visually projected to match it. So it's like Minecraft, but not Minecraft, you know? Minecraft is if everything is a building. And if you want to know what this will look like when it's closer to being finished, when we have performance, we're going to go into the main asset imports. So I'm just going to bring it up real quick, and then we're going to go back to work. But you know, the show and tell. Now that the noise is working, my goal is to delete the Unity project. This one, the one that I'm actually working on. I want all of this, and that's why I'm kind of side scrolling. I was also chatting with an artist today. So there's a prospective artist in the works. We'll see how that goes too. Yeah, I don't know why Unity sucks in that lighting. The lighting is, turn it off. Let it rebuild shaders. Yeah, so I want to get all these like re-imported next, so I can rebuild this environment. Wait, I heard Sims. You heard Sims? Wait, what? How long ago did I say the word Sims? Planet Sim? Flight Sim? What? I love Sims. Ashley, did you see the new released 25th anniversary Sims collection? Just got released on Steam. It's Sims 1 and Sims 2. Not remastered, but like actually working. Like working. And don't get confused, because there's another one. There's Sims 2 special edition for like the same price, which you shouldn't get because you can just get the collection. I love the Sims. I have like all of the Sims, but it literally just released. Like if we go to the store page, right? Sims 25 years, and the pack is, yeah. So this is it. This is the bundle. USD, it's probably $35. But it's Sims 2, Sims 4. There's Sims 4 is free anyway, but there's 2 DLCs for Sims 4. But it's the full Legacy collection, which is the new one, and this is fully it's like a revamp of Sims 2. You're gonna get that now, yeah, because Sims 2 is a pain in the ass to get running on modern hardware. But I think Sims 2, like, I think, you know, like, I don't know, maybe it's just like, it's just EA milking it. But like, I had Sims 3 on release. It was one of the first, like I literally had it day one. And when Sims 4 came out, it had nothing. Like, it didn't have pets, it didn't have anything. I just feel like all they're doing is going back in time with every Sims and then like slowly reintroducing things. And but yeah, like, I think that's a good deal. Wow, already mixed for Legacy Edition. But yeah, this pack. Oh yeah, yeah, $54. So it comes with the Sims Legacy Collection, Sims 2 Legacy Collection, and Sims 4. Yeah, 40 USD. It's not a bad price given that, like, it is a fully finished copy of The Sims 1 and 2. And I think for that, it's well worth the money. You just buy it. Nice. Yeah, so I get lost in the Sims, man. The Sims it's fun. So, but yeah, let's go back into Godot. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is kind of what I want things to look like. Right, and these are just very primitive shapes. Right, they're meant to be a backdrop, and this is running like super well. So you know, when this new system is working and chunking in, right, it's just, you know, getting this stuff, you know, loading in. And what I need to do is, you know, I need to create, you know, I need to redo, obviously they're squares, but they need to be city blocks and not regular blocks. So the spacing would be the, you know, would be the accurate spacing that you would see if you were playing, say, like the Fifth Element, you know, like just enough space for the like flying cars and shit to fly in between or on ground. So right. So they had to be like kind of done in clusters. So every little square you see is not really a building; it's going to be more of a cluster. Right? There's different. So this is like the kind of stuff, you know, this is like the general, like where I want to, where I see it in the future for this planet. So what, you know, what all we're seeing now is just kind of some of the, right, some of the basics that I've already done. So all of this stuff needs to be moved into this new project. There's even like a broken version of the parallax shader here. So if I can get all this moved over into Unforgiven planets, then I can get rid of this Unity project, and once and for all, and we'll have all of our resources. So that is the goal, right? So every one of these blocks you're seeing here would be a full city block and not just one building. So it's kind of, it's not really that accurate in representation, because each one of these are like 1 meter, and they would be probably like, you know, 50 meters, maybe like 65 meters square. So you know, even what we consider the, you know, the draw distance is kind of skewed. But I think if we chunk it down into, say, like 32 by 32s as a baseline, and we say that it must be like 3 chunks around us at all times, then I think even if you're moving really fast in a ship, I think we can kind of, you know, slowly kind of keep the planet loading and unloading in. So yeah, that's the idea. Is to kind of start moving this stuff over. Yeah, because when I gotta go back to ChatGPT here, and hey, Swink. Alright, so do I have a dealie? I haven't seen it. Nope, not the cookie. Oh, she's in the hallway. Yeah, she's in the hallway. Yeah, so this is under the assumption. You know, so maybe we'll go into the block. Maybe let's save out a bunch of these. So let's take the city multi-mesh, and we'll save it as a new scene. So I'll do prefabs, planets. City builder, and we'll call this city chunk, city block. So save the city block, and we'll make this city block be 32 by 32. So we'll use the same noise. We also got to make sure that this is actually using the same noise, and that these are not just going to be repeating, like we're, you know, sampling some, you know, world space noise. And there's probably going to be something. So it'll be city block scene. So the city builder, or city generator in this case, it's going to use our city generator script. And we're going to put in yeah, so we're going to preload. I don't know, this is going to, it'd be nice if this will just work out of the box, but I also don't have a way of flying around the world right now. So this will be a city block instance. Chunk size, we're going to say is going to be 32. So our view distance is going to be 30 chunks, and our rotation angle is going to be 90. I'm not sure why the rotation angle is a thing yet. Yeah. So there should be all right, so here because we don't have a player default position, so let's go here. So every one of these nodes we pull one up should be a block. So we take Y, right? So this is an actual block. And like Minecraft, what we're doing is we're going to be loading around the player using the same noise value. That's why it looks, good no matter, it blends in. So we're going to use different blocks. Yeah, I think they're 32. Right, so this is kind of, we're still dealing with the same thing, but now there's smaller chunks. So the question is like how we need to find a balance of what we want our chunk size to be versus the distance, and until we do some more testing and we kind of bring in our like make them the correct scale and size, but we should be able to move our player around. We don't have a player node, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an artificial node. And this node, we're just going to call player. And I'm going to just add them to a players group so that the system, can work. And we'll just manually move it around, just to watch the chunk system do its thing. So we'll add this guy to all our global groups. Player. So now, if we have this player, and I guess we could technically just change the type like a marker. So just so I know it's not really anything we're going to be moving around, the code. And player group getting, so all we want to do, we want to go and grab so just player. And based on our player position, we will bring in our new chunks and then update those chunks. So let's take that and we're going to hit play again. And this time we're going to move around that little virtual player. Alright, because we're going to be observing it from afar here. Alright, so this is where our player really is, kind of in the middle. That's why we're seeing them kind of spawn around the player. We come back though. We take this player node and remote and find a player. Okay, and then we're going to move our player around. I wish it would like give me like a handle. Alright, so as we, let's go the other way actually. So as we move this way, hello. Like freaked out. Hello, get out. So what we'll do is we'll just thread that. Yeah, I think it's like dragging too far, so. Yeah, so if we went to like minus 1,000 and we took over the camera. So like way over into thousands, those chunks should be. Alright, so let's, hey Munglo, let's create a very basic, because we have like a free cam. You could put the player inside the free cam, it would take care of itself. The free cam is just a free cam. I don't know if it works by default. It might need to be manually activated. I don't think this thing has the controls. Although it should. What we can do, let's remove the player. Let's add a static body. We're gonna add like a little kind of starting area that we can kind of like stay in. We're gonna put this thing 100 meters up. I'm gonna give it a collision shape. We're gonna make this thing 32 by 32 by 4. Just gonna call it landing. I'm gonna add a mesh to visualize this. Which I have a plane. It'll just be 32 by 32. And because this is 4, let's put it in -2. And we're just going to put a ship on it, because we are using Unforgiven systems. Okay. I'm putting a player. What we'll use, we'll make sure the player is actually in the players group, and we'll use the player, our real player, as our metric for the chunking system. And this might actually need to be a station and much better things, but I think it'll be fine. Oh yeah, now the free cam works. Why does the free cam work now? By default. Fine. Cool. Alright, well, if the free cam is gonna work, let me actually put that player. In the free cam, just so we can use it, and then for the free cam, let's do all for the speed. Hmm. Alright, so let's add some multi-threading to the chunking. Then a regional function, there's not going to be usable. I'm gonna say he's gonna be 32 by 32 by default. And ideally, I would like to take one. I just want to have one noise reference, maybe on the system that's generating them, and not on the chunk itself. Let's speed it up a little bit to 32 speed. And then for the generator, 32 view distance will be 5 chunks. 5 times 32. Yeah, maybe one more than that. And I realized the individual chunks are using the same seed. And not pulling from like the global seed. That's where we're seeing like smaller 32 by 32 variations. So that's easy fix. But let's see if we can actually get the chunks loading. So let's do city generator. Create a whole new class because we know this one's working. This will be city generator. Today was my Wednesday. I just remembered we city generator thread. Ready? I'm gonna call it fast. No, it's a terrible name. City generator fast. I'm gonna thread say, tell me the word. Yeah, because if we're only ever loading and unloading chunks, they're not being accessed for any reason while that's happening, I think we can easily convert that to be threaded. Chunk from the Goonies? No, like just a chunk of oh my god, look at this. I just chat GPT the script and it put it into a refactoring mode. Like every day that I use chat GPT. Oh look, it's doing the locks. Right, here's a threaded version of your generating using task.run to offload your chunk generation to a separate thread to ensuring Godot-related operations remain on the thread. This version moves chunk loading to a background thread to ensure the C modifications won't happen on the main thread using call deferred. The lock object ensures thread safety when modifying loaded chunks. No way. No way. Yeah, so let's make a fast version. So we have a city generator. I'm going to do a build. Hello, Godot. Are we done? Are we done? Add child nodes. This will be city node 3D. And we'll call it the city generator fast. It's -3, but feels like -23. Let's do 10 chunks. Now we might have trouble rendering 10 chunks of view distance, so we're doing 32 chunks at 10 chunks. But it's enough coverage to be like everything you'd ever need, and it should be far enough that it goes way beyond the view distance. And if we're going to be threading anyway, then I think that'll be like a worst case scenario before we start warping the zones around planet surface. So I think what we'll do is let's take this, stick it here. Let's add an enablement. So let's just do like an export. Public build enabled, just because I'm going to be debugging. And then in process and ready. Let's go back to block buddy. If not enabled. And this way we can test our fast one. Come on. Alright, so it's not enabled. This one will be enabled by default. I also want to get rid of this building mesh debug code. That's on the city block multi-mesh. There's a slowdown there. Okay. And we could probably do some threading as well on the block itself. We could thread the individual multi-mesh instance calculations, so we can like take noise and then feed it into each building type. And then that way we'll do all 7 building variations per thread. So just for each, but kind of, you know, if we're already kind of generating chunks, then let's see. So this is the new high performance version. Oh my god, look at it go. It's so quick. Hang on. Oh. is so... Okay, man. We need to make it slow, man. And like, because at a low altitude, this is literally... Yeah, we want bigger less bigger chunks. Right? Let's do unfast. So let's do 128 chunks at 16 v distance. Let's see how crazy that is. I want to full screen you. Oh my god. Okay, so that works, but the individual chunks... Okay, so we need to be able to pass the chunk size into the chunk, because like we're getting... Yeah, so it's assuming there's space for 128, but chunks are actually still only like 32, so that's not working. So I had to put the 128 on the city block prefab. So the 128. Wait at 128. I think we can decrease. We'll do frequency 0.3. And we'll give fast another go. It's not happy. But it was loading, so... Oh my god, it's not happy. But that's unlimited cityscape. Like, at this distance, like, there is just nothing but city. Eternal city in every direction. So, cool, but, you know, we gotta find balance between threaded chunks and chunk sizes. So, let's do 64 by 64. For the blocks, and then let's say so we'll do 64 by 64, 8 meter chunks, and we'll see if that's our compromise. Like, are we kind of in performance mode still, or are we out of VLAN? Okay, we are. We're still... Ooh. Oh my god. That is ridiculous. Yeah, so I think that's like the balance there. Is if we add a fog volume to this and some lotting on the outskirts, and the fact there's planetary curvature, right? And the fact that our planets are not going to be as big, right? I think, you know, like, we're never gonna... And then the other option too, if this is a lot of background simulation, I wonder if we can reuse certain chunks, or if we can kind of preload a multi-image instance in a way that we can flip it, or you know, if they're tiling anyway, and we're just using the same ones over and over again in the chunk. Can we like directly copy them? I don't know. We gotta go faster. We gotta go faster. We need speed. 200 speed. We need to break the system. Anyways, I think we're getting high. Chunks on garbage collection. That's why I wonder if we can actually just kind of not unload them, but move them. Right? If we could make it so we're tiling at the very edges, and instead of a load unload, we're actually doing a copy. So we're doing a chunk copy of the bounds forward. Right? Because that would be just one frame. That would literally a subframe, relocate, like 9 or 8 chunks to the forefront. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Yeah, so that would be probably the optimization recommendation, would be to kind of pull chunks from the rear moving forward, because it's a city plan. There's a intentional repetition to some of these things, other than what we're curating ourselves, the landing zones themselves, the main city. Yeah, so I wonder how we can yeah, because we need to kind of break. I think if we thread the city block, right, take the city block and we do each multi-mesh load as a thread, right? So when we're on ready, when we're going through and creating these multi-meshes, what I think we can do is on the block itself, we'll already pre-allocate the meshes. So we'll already create the meshes so they exist already, and that they already have their mesh assigned, so that we're not copying the mesh, into it. So it's a bit more manual work. But then we have our kind of our blocks set up, right? So then we won't be really and we also we don't want to be creating a new instance of our noise. But I'd like to have a reference of the noise. So I'm thinking what we'll do is we'll have we'll pass noise into it, and we'll just pass reference to a main noise function. So then, and that could be a part of the constructor of a block, that we kind of pass noise in, so that it has it. Right, because we could have a yeah, because we could technically feed it an optional noise texture or noise algorithm, or seed if it's going to keep the noise. But I think that's where we can kind of where we can get some gains. Right, we're also still maintaining the array of populations that's used to generate the city blocks, and right, so there's a memory cost there as well. Right, but I think right, because I mean we need to worry about this array of pack scenes. Right, if we could just directly reference the meshes and have them like in memory. One second.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the split up multi-meshes, separate multi-meshes. Yeah, the idea is we wouldn't have to do any of this. We could manually set up these multi-meshes. And have it already like kind of in the scene. So let's create a new version of it. Build city threaded. Or multi, maybe city block multi. We don't know what that means. Instead of multi-mesh, it's multi. Nah, multi-thread. And then let's take this block. And save it as city block multi-thread. Multi-block is fine for the name. So now Yeah, so instead of these pack scene references that we want to load in, we're actually going to add our multi-meshes. Buildings 1. And then we'll add our new, so we can kind of set these up in advance. And so click load, buildings 1 flat. Now, our format is 2D. Kind of stay 2D for the time being. We were doing transform format, do a 2D or 3D. So we're just going to manually set them up. Right, so that we all have to do is reference these building meshes directly. And then we can just copy those. But you know, it's good like to be able to kind of do this in code, but it'll perform much better. Oh yeah, I'm gonna make them all unique ones over. Right, and maybe the solution is making like a tool script to like automatically generate these in a way where we can have a lot of this pre-allocated and kind of ready to go. You know what I mean? I'm gonna make some changes to it. Parallel for each grid height. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, use the 1D right here. So, yeah, we need to rotate E4 the position, so limitation of the multi-mesh system. Also, I have already created the multi-mesh instances with the assign mesh. We use speed. Okay. Thanks. Yeah, so we just want a collection array of these multi-mesh instances for building instances. We want our global noise. Yep. And then we want to see, so in our generate buildings, yeah, that's fine. But without, yeah, that's faster. But we also want to add threading. And then we'll be good. So we can use multi-threaded code. So we'll separate mutex. So where are we locking? So starting our multi-thread generation. So when we're generating, so yeah, so we're threading and assigning the transforms. So right, okay. So we still got to go through and figure out our height in a single pass. There's no real way around that because we need that data in advance. But we can assign the transforms to each of the multi-meshes in a thread. Right, and then once all multi-meshes have been fed, right, so then the largest multi-mesh size of buildings is going to take the longest, but once it's done, that all of them should be done. Yeah, and so we're definitely, let's see, are we still doing a rotation before we do the translation? We are. So now we have super fast, high performance, yeah, it's on mutex is in threading. Wait, there's a Godot mutex and a system threading mutex? Oh, so which one? So if we use a Godot mutex, oh, I wonder is the Godot mutex faster? Hang on. Hold up. Better than system.threading. Because if Godot has its own mutex function, so we have a Godot's mutex versus C# system threading mutex. So Godot's is lightweight and Godot native synchronization. And then we have our .NET. Okay, so for the Godot mutex, let's see, what do we do differently? We create our Godot mutex. Is it in our gather? Let's see. So here we're creating a thread just like normal. So we create a thread, start a thread, and we add the thread reference. And then all we're doing is waiting. So there's a Godot thread. Avoid using system threading mutexes. It's overkill unless you need inter-process locks. And we don't need inter-process locks. So we're gonna switch to Godot's threading system. And we'll see. So we should now have a city block multi-threaded. And this thing should be much faster. And we're just gonna build up these multi-mesh instances. So let's go to multi-mesh fast this time. And this scene, that we're going to be loading as a chunk. Okay, we're just instantiating it normal, whatever script that's already on. Okay, yeah, guess we're fine. Okay, so that shouldn't really matter. What class they... Okay, so that's good. Let's set up the block. And we'll see how fast the Godot threading system is. So then we'll get multi-threading, chunk generation, and then multi-threading on... so we should just be able to go ahead and add buildings 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And 32 by 32, all the same information. We just need to make sure that there's 3D, that we don't have any properties defined that we would have done in code with the original multi-thread. City block. Okay, good. Multi-mission incident, setting mesh. Format's fine, this is 0. Okay. Alright. So all we should have to do is save this new multi-thread city block. Go to our fast. And this block scene is going to be the multi-threaded version of itself. And they have to be 32 by 32. What are we doing here? 64 by 64? So maybe it has to be 64 by 64. Okay. Come on. And we get sub-chunk generation on multi-threading too. That's wild. And I still have Unity running too, which is not helping me. Yeah, I think that's like a worst case scenario. Alright, well that's that rewritten. I'm quite happy with that. It's cool. It's way too much. The CPU utilization needs to go down. So I really need to convert. We really want to go and convert the other one to like the one that we originally had, the generator. This one, which is still using system threading. I think we want to convert this one over back to Godot threading, just so we're still, you know, it might be a bit quicker. Because that'll improve thread safety. Yep. Okay, so let's do that. And let's just see what we get with that. Close out the other project. Yeah, it's not helping my performance testing having multiple versions of Godot running. Okay. All right, now let's try it. And now hopefully this should be as fast as we're going to get it. Well, I mean, without other optimizations. On the threading side, it'll be, you know. Oh, that initialization felt a lot faster. Yeah, getting some stutters on the cleanup. We are going pretty fast. I would have to figure out what our SCM speed is. I also don't like the fact that we chunk in a literal sense. I wish we could lazy chunk. And do like almost like a circle around us. I could probably do a chunk algorithm that'll do like a spherical like kind of sampling. Because there wouldn't be any reason to do the corners. We gotta realize too, like these are all 1 meter. You know what I mean? Like we're realistically never going to see the horizon line. Like this is all worst case scenario stuff. And then we also want to change our rendering. There's a few things I want to do with the LODs. Cool. Yeah, it's the question now is I do want to bring over those other assets, those other buildings. Oh, it's looking for the UIs. Oh yeah, I might as well add in the other asset stuff for the player. Because I'd like to actually fly around, you know, the city. But we need to get scale and stuff like that up. But that's all I wanted to accomplish tonight. I just wanted to get that multi-threaded city generation. So I think that'd be cool. I wonder is that why the player wasn't kind of being picked up as the default camera. Or is it because free cam is active by default? Wait a second. Am I still running two instances? No. Yeah, let me turn off free cam by default. And see if we get back to the player. Yeah, the problem is the player, I think, is still oh my god, this is gonna be so cool. Hang on. So let me just temporarily take the player marker. I'm gonna just throw it in the ship. Yeah, just gonna throw the player marker in the ship. And we're gonna do one more fly. We're gonna raid someone. Like I said, short stream, but I just want to accomplish it. And whenever we accomplish it, it's perfect. Okay, so our ship should now be the city driving force. That's gonna be wild. Too bad the scale is wrong, you know what I mean? Like there's still only 1 meter blocks that we're flying over, so like. Yeah, because what they need to support culling as well. We gotta break them down into smaller pieces. Get culling working. Where's that? Where's the? Yeah. Is this working? Why am I passing through it? Yep. I don't know. It's weird. Oh, maybe it's not accepting chips. Alright, chat, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to end it here on YouTube. And, yep, those are fine. And we're going to call it. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Lots of productive stuff.